Yes, yes, yes. Mr. Raphael Dawkins with a Combat Radio. And we are live. Okay, so let's have a look at the screen. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, you are in tune to Boxing Talk with Rafi. Which edition are we on? 221. Okay, so without much further ado, let's do the sound check. 121. Excellente. Excellente. Okay, so let's get into this shiznix. Let's have a look at what we've got on the menu. Okay, so of course, the title piece, Joshua versus Fury. Eddie Hearn sends first draft of the Undisputed contract to Bob Arum. Okay, so that's great news. That's great news, and of course, we're going to be looking deep into that. We're gonna go down the rabbit hole on that one. And what else is on the menu? What else is on the menu? Aaron Daly, Victor Barda, and the Don ZB up in the building. The Don ZB. I ain't seen the Don ZB in a while. I ain't seen the Victor Barda in a while. Pretty sure I saw Aaron Daly on, when did we do this thing? Monday. Boxing Talk with Rafi on Monday. Okay, let's go. Let's have a look what's going down. Don ZB going hard. Hold on. It hasn't shown up there yet. It ain't showing up there yet. Okay. If this fight goes down, Wilder is the biggest idiot in boxing of all times. OMG. OMG. Yeah, Aaron Daly, I know you're a regular, mate. That's what I was saying. You were last year on Monday. Last time we went live, my friend. Yes. And Victor Barda, he used to be regular. He used to be regular back in the days. He was one of the founding fathers of the channel. But then he disappeared. I don't know where he goes now. But where are we? I'm sure he's watching in the background. What's going on? Cal L up in the building. Salute to Raphael. Salute to the Combat Nation. 100%. Good to have you all up in the building. I have to go back to Don ZB's quote. If this fight goes down, Wilder is the biggest idiot in boxing of all times. Eddie Hills, the Fury guy. We always need a Fury guy in here. And we have it in the form of Eddie Hills. Okay. I can't believe it. I can't believe how dirty the WBO have done Usyk. He should sue all those that were crying for White to get his Mando shot are quiet for Usyk, who's been Mando for long. What the hell are you talking about? Usyk's been Mando for longer. How long's been Usyk been Mando? How the hell has Usyk been Mando for 1,000 days? I think not. Eddie Hills, come back to me with that number. Come back to me with the number of how long Usyk's been Mando. And also, when you come back to me, also tell me what he did to become Mando in the heavyweight division. What the hell has Alexander Usyk, the Ukrainian dancer, done in the heavyweight division? What the hell has he done? What the hell has he done? Of course he's not been longer. Of course he's not been mandatory longer. Eddie Hills, come back to me and tell me how many days Usyk has been mandatory. What, a few months? A few months? Is that close to 1,000 days? Eddie Hills? Huh? And what the hell has Usyk done in the heavyweight division? Yeah. It was a lineal, what do you call him? Cruiserweight champ. Okay, I'll give him that. Fair enough. Congratulations. How the hell does that transfer into the heavyweights? Didn't you see how frayed he looked? The man looked frayed against, what's his name? Chisora. Man's eyes were wide like saucers. He was hanging on to the referee saying, he hit me. Usyk, Chisora hit me. He hitted me. No sympathy for Usyk whatsoever. White was number one for 1,000 days, but not Mando. Eddie Hills, okay. That's a slick little maneuver. I got to give you credit for that. I'll give you a point for that. That's a good one. That is a good one. White was number one for 1,000 days, but not Mando. Okay, cool. All right, good point. Okay, so how many days has what's his name? Has Usyk been number one? And how many days has he been Mando? Would that be the same amount of days? He's been number one and Mando for the same amount of days. So how the hell was White number one but not Mando? Anyway, that's a rabbit hole that we don't want to get into. Where are we? Has Usyk fought any top 10 heavyweight? White became official WBC Mando after the after the Rivas fight. Usyk became Mando as soon as he stepped up. Yeah, so what's that all about? Yeah, why did White have to wait so long to become? Anyway, that's pretty obvious. It was WBC corruption. Trying to protect Wilder from White. Wilder said it himself. He make him wait for 2 years. And Iron Kong up in the building. What's Eddie Hill saying? Usyk became Mando as soon as he moved. Yeah. He became number one and he became Mando. Yeah, he got everything handed to him on a silver plate. How the hell did he get everything handed into him on a silver plate, on a silver platter? What the hell is that all about? Okay. Eddie Hills came in and stirred things up. Eddie Hills came in and stirred things up. Damn. But I gotta go back to the Don ZB. This is funny as hell. If this fight goes down, Wilder is the biggest idiot in boxing of all times. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. What? Let me go check. That's hilarious. Hold on, let me go. Obviously, it's a troll with multiple accounts. I'm assuming that. Or Wilder lovers. That can't be Wilder lovers, because Wilder lovers wouldn't have caught breath. They wouldn't have caught wind of this so fast. So that's probably got to be Eddie Hills. How many trial accounts you got, my friend? Eddie Hills, how many trial accounts do you have? That's hilarious. Okay, let me do some deep. Let me go deep sea. Let me go into the back rooms. Let me go into the back rooms of YouTube's and let me have a look at the numbers, because let me go into the analytics. Okay, so clicked on this. Okay, we just started. I'm trying to do the numbers here. I'm trying to do a numbers game. Right, so what is it? Where's this show? This show's right here. Okay, so let's have a look at the numbers. Let's see if they tally up. So we got 9 likes and 7 dislikes. That's 16. Okay, well, it's possible. I'm just looking at the numbers to see if they tally up. Okay, so it's possible that somebody with a trial account has just got multiple trial accounts has just got super duper. They've just got into it and they've just gone, yeah, this trial account, dislike, that trial account, dislike. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. Dislike. But you know, You know, the thing is that the funny thing is that ironically, those trolls, that person with the troll account who came in and smashed that dislike button 7 times. Or let's say it's 2 trolls who did it 3.5 times, each per piece. The ironic thing is that it all adds up to the analytics, and it really is not a terrible thing. So they're actually helping the channel. They're helping the channel and helping the channel visibility. Not that it needs help with the visibility. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows. Everybody knows it. I was just doing some scanning and I saw this guy. I saw this channel owner, this channel cat. Came to my attention because he looked like he's modified his screen to kind of look like my screen, as if he could do that. And before that, it came to my attention because before that, he put me on some kind of mailing list. But yet this channel runner, this guy has never been in the chat, has never made himself known in the chat. Just clearly comes, snoops, and goes. And then had the audacity to put me on some kind of mailing list. What kind of nonsense is that? What kind of foolish is that? And trying to modify a screen to look like my screen, puts me on a mailing list, but he's never had the courtesy to come on in here and make himself known to the combat radio nation. What an audacity! What an utter audacity! What's going on here? What's going on here? We got the Leighton Evelyn up in the building. I ain't seen you in a while, Leighton. I ain't seen you in a month or so. There's 16 watching and 16 likes. Is that correct? Damn. Yes, there's 17 likes now. And another troll account has come in with the 8th dislike. Well, you know, what can I say, man? What can I say? Maybe it's just some hurt Wilder fans with a few extra troll accounts. Eddie Hill says low. No, it's not me. I only need one. Where we at here? 16 likes, 16 watching, 16 likes, 18 watching, 18 likes. Yeah, so where's them trolls? Where them trolls come from? The bowels of hell. What's going on? BFTB is looking for revenge. Well, the link's in the chat. The link's in the chat for everybody to come in and give their thoughts, including the Poison Dwarf. Mind you, his police records say he's 6'2". Dang. Is there an RDCR and the BFTB beef? Have you not seen the playlist? Have you not seen the playlist? The Raphael Dawkins and BFTB? If you want some entertainment, just type in Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio and BFTB, and you'll see we have a long dueling history. We have a long history of dueling. And J Blues Radio is up in the building. How you doing, J Blues? Good to have you up in here. 8 dislikes. People really don't want the Undisputed. Shake my damn head. Shake my damn head. You know, I don't think it's 8 people, though. I think it's one person with a lot of troll accounts, or maybe 2 persons with a lot of troll accounts. Okay, but that will not stop the Raphael Dawkins from spreading the word, and we're here, and we're going to talk about it. Eddie Hearn sends Bob Arum the first draft of the, what do you call it? What's that there? The first draft of the Undisputed contract. The first draft of the Undisputed contract. TKO 22. Greetings, Raphael. Legend. Hey, it's good to have you up in here. TKO. Very humbling words. Very humbling words. Okay. So, how are we going to do this? How am I going to do this? Am I going to pull up some kind of article? Let's have a look. Let's have a look how we navigate this thing. Let's have a look how we navigate this thing. Link is in the chat for anybody who wants to come on in and talk about it. Where are we? First of all, let me get my screen right. Let me stop sharing that and start sharing this. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, yeah. Boom, boom, Boom. Okay, now you should be seeing what I'm seeing. Okay. Hearn sends Undisputed first draft. Yeah, trials, trials, man. Just trials, trialing. That's what they do. I'm very familiar with the trials. Some of them I know personally. They were in here. They were in here at one time, and I kindly and politely asked them to leave. Leighton Evelyn up in the building. I got some background noise there, Leighton. Can hear some background noise there.
Yeah, muted that.
Sweet as a nut, mate. How do you do, Leighton Evelyn?
Oh, good, Raph. Ain't seen you for a while, mate. You know how it is, ducking and diving, jumping and thing. I've been watching you, catching on a catch-up, like, you know what I mean, Raph? Oh, mate, the stuff that's going wrong today, like, it's ridiculous, mate. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real. What are we talking about? What are you talking about specifically? Boxing news?
Yeah, well, I'm on about mostly with these YouTubers, and these YouTubers are taking the shine of the fight, like when the real fighters don't want to fight each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the YouTubers want to fight each other, and it's making the sport look shocking, mate. It's making the show look shocking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. You don't make it any better when you got man like Ryan Garcia and Manny Pacquiao allegedly having an exhibition fight with each other. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, but who was Ryan Garcia beat? Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell, all of a sudden, he's world champion, undisputed, he's better than this. The whole idea of that fight was to fight Devin Haney for the belt. Do you know what I mean, mate?
Yeah.
And he's decided, no, I'm better than that. I'd go fight whoever. And Manny Pacquiao. How can Manny Pacquiao not defend that belt for like, what, 2 years, Raph? Two and a half years?
At least 18 months. Coming up 2 years.
Well, why haven't they stripped him? Raph? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know what the hell he's doing with the belt. If you don't want to defend the belt, then what the hell is he doing with the belt? They're talking about we're not sure yet. We're not sure who. We're not sure if it's going to be a proper match or an exit. Well, I tell you what, pure and simple. I make it simple for all of them cats. If it's an exhibition fight, then strip Manny Pacquiao of the belt. Very simple. It needs to be a real fight. We'll strip him of the belt. Simple.
Exactly. Because I heard he was offering Conor McGregor a chance to fight. And I mean, it's so if Conor McGregor would have beat him, I know he wouldn't have. I know it'd be far off. But if Conor McGregor would have beat him, trying to tell me you'd have been world champion. Are you for real? Are you for real, mate? Are you for real?
Farcical. I mean, at least when Mayweather fought Conor, Mayweather was retired. So that's just a sideshow. But for a reigning world champion to be considering a fight like that, it's absolutely farcical. Pure and simple. If Manny Pacquiao don't want to fight, don't want to defend the belt, then give it up. And if the next fight he has is an exhibition fight against Ryan Garcia or whoever, then give it up. How the hell can you be a reigning world champion and who defended who won the belt and hasn't defended it for the better part of 2 years? How can you come back and say, my next fight's going to be an exhibition fight? Get the hell out of town. If that's
100%, 100%. You got to think of these poor guys who have, like, you know what I mean? They've struggled, they've battled, they've got through maybe 19-0, maybe 18-2, whatever. They've battled to get into a position to have a fight, and they ain't got no shot at it. But this guy who's worth 200 mil, whatever, can come in from another sport and just think it's a joke, mate. I'm telling you, I'm falling out of love with boxing, mate. I am falling out of love with boxing.
It is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Let's have a look at this here. Raf only asked for a screenshot. Who the hell is Eddie Hills? Eddie Hills clearly has been involved with the channel for at least, how long was that? How long was the screenshot incident? That must have been a good, 6 months ago? So 6 months ago, Eddie Hills has been listening to this channel for at least 6 months ago, but he's coming with a name that I have never seen before. So what's your real name, Eddie? What's your previous name? What's your previous YouTube name, Eddie Hills? Who is Eddie Hills? It's a mystery.
Sounds like a troll. Sounds like a troll, Raf.
Sounds like a troll. Does Eddie Hills? You're sounding like a troll, mate. You've been here for over 6 months, and then you just come in with this particular name, which means that you've been here under a different name before Eddie Hills. It sounds like a troll, Eddie. I think we might have to find the multiple disliker, Eddie, with one of your troll accounts, Eddie. But it's okay, Eddie. We'll get to the bottom of this eventually. TKO22, my favorite channel. Respect, Raphael, 100%, my friend. It's good to have you up in here while we chop this shiznix up. Oh, and by the way, there's been an addition to the team. There has been an addition to the team, Leighton Evelyn. Leighton Evelyn's been here from day one. From my TBV days, my days over at the Boxing Voice. And as soon as I started my live show, I said there was a particular member of a team that I wanted to have. And kind of forgot about it, kind of prevaricated. There's a better word than that, but I can't remember. It begins with P, but never mind. I wanted this team member on the team for a long time. And finally, I got it done. And here is the new member of the team. I hope everybody's listening keenly. That's my bell. Said I was going to get my bell. It's like my swear box. If I want to say you mother...
Quality. Mate.
You dirty mother. If I want to say that to anybody, I've got it, mate. I've got it. Long time coming. Procrastinate is the word that is the mother that I was looking for. Okay, so that's the new team member. Let's go to the comments, which I have missed as we chop this shiznix up. Where are we? Okay, so why is Hearn sending contracts to Arum? Isn't this fight happening in the UK? Arum isn't Fury's UK. What the hell are you talking about? Is the fight happening in the UK? I think it's widely understood that this fight could go to Saudi Arabia. And moreover,
be a Deontay Wilder fan. Right, gotta be a Deontay Wilder fan.
He's a Wilder fan. He's a big Wilder fan. And moreover, the money man in this thing is not Frank Warren. It is Bob Arum. So if this fight was happening in the UK, it would still be Bob Arum handling the shiznix because, Tyson Fury went with Arum because he wanted the American TV deal. So the American TV deal is still going to be bigger than the British TV deal, hypothetically. Hypothetically, it's going to be PPV over in America as well as in the UK. So Arum would be handling that shiznix. The biggest fight in boxing in how many years? You think Arum's not going to be handling it? You must be having a laugh, mate. You must be having a laugh. I thought the contract was sent on Tuesday. Did someone lose their pen? What in the title contradicts that? What does this title say? Joshua versus Fury. Eddie Hearn sends first draft of Undisputed contracts to Bob Arum. That's what the contract says. So
yeah, drafts. It's not the real contract, it's drafts. They're arranging it. So what this guy's on about, he's just hated, mate. He's just pure hated.
What are you saying? I thought the draft, you don't send the bloody contract. The contract isn't made up immediately. The draft of the contract. Leighton Evelyn's right. The draft. They have to draft a contract. And then when they send this contract over, then the Arum is going to come back with amendments. And then Hearn is going to look at it. Hearn solicitors, lawyers are going to look at it, and they're going to make amendments on the amendments and then send it back. And it's going to go back and forth a few times until they both agree on pretty much damn near everything. And then you have a contract. So what was sent this week was a draft of a contract. Yeah, so I thought the contract. Yeah, the draft. The draft. Okay, and they're going to be a few more drafts until everybody is in agreement. Okay, what's Iron Kong saying? Fight ain't happening in the UK, and Rank ain't been doing ish with Tyson in a good while. Frank. Yeah, Frank. Okay. What we got here? What we got here? What we got here? Zabi. Zabble. Salute Rafi and chat. Salute to you. I don't think I've seen you in here before, but how do you do? Hey Rafi, your boy Don King changed the fight card. It's now yeah, I'm coming to that one. Look down the bottom of the screen. Look down the bottom of the screen right here. Yeah, we're coming to that one. We're coming to that one. Okay, so what we got? True mate, caller, it's ridiculous making a mockery out of boxing. Yes. Eddie Hills says Femi runs to the Middle East at the first whiff of cash. This Eddie Hills is a weird character. Is it as if runs to the Middle East at the first whiff of cash, like as if to say Tyson Fury doesn't run to Saudi. Didn't he go to Saudi Arabia for some wrestling money? Did Tyson Fury not run to Saudi Arabia for some wrestling money?
Raf, if Deontay was here, he wouldn't be saying nothing. He wouldn't be saying nothing if Deontay was over there earning that cash. That's what it's all about, mate. They're just Deontay fans, mate.
No, I think he's a Wilder fan. I think Eddie Hills is a Wilder guy. He's not Wilder. Fury guy. He's a Fury guy. Tyson Fury guy.
Fair enough. But they couldn't have got to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia don't want Fury. I think they want Joshua money. They want Joshua. They love Joshua. Fury could not have made this money without Joshua. Do you know what I mean? Look what he made with thing. It's Joshua. Joshua is the cash cow. And if Joshua goes, then goodbye the money to all of you. So I'm telling you that now.
That's a good point. That's a good point you just made there, because Joshua could make this money with Wilder. Joshua could make this long money with Wilder. And Joshua could make this long money with Tyson Fury. But could Fury and Wilder make that longer money? We saw how much they generated, and it wasn't really, it was long money for them, but it wasn't super long money like this.
Joshua made more against Ruiz, mate. He made more against Ruiz than those two put together. Do you know what I mean? Wow. Joshua's a cash cow because the simple thing is, he's likable. He is likable. Even if you hate him, he's still likable. He's like family friendly. Do you know what I mean? He's a genuine guy. He's family friendly.
Yeah, that's a good point. So that's a good point there. So I think I need to write this down. Let me write this down and put it up in there so people who are just perusing over the interwebs can see it, because it's a very good point. Let me write this in. Let's create a new banner and write this in. So Joshua could make a King's ransom.
Because Raf, when you see him in his fight when he's fighting Ruiz, he was holding the Prince's son in his hands. The Prince's son was like fucking Joshua. They love Joshua over there. Joshua's respectful with them, with Asian culture. They love respect, and Joshua's respectful, mate. Do you know what I mean? They don't like this low of brashness talking. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know how Fury and his people are going to get on over there, mate. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how. Because if you remember a couple of years ago when Fury, I don't know who was fighting, I think it might be one of his Zephyr thing, whatever, it kicked off in the crowd. Yeah. It kicked off in the crowd. Because that's the people he brings to his crowds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Frank Warren had a bit of a reputation for having them rowdy crowds. There's quite a few clips on YouTube of Frank Warren's rowdy crowds, and that's a good point. But I think the Saudis, they won't put up with that kind of shiznix. You know what I'm saying? They won't put up with that kind of nonsense. They'll have their eyes and
they don't like drink. They got their own culture, which I respect, which you've got to respect. That's their way, their people. But They're the money men. They're the money men. They got the money. Their money runs the world. They own the oil. Do you know what I mean? They run but they love Joshua. When the prince, the actual prince, the family, the royal family, love Joshua. They got a connection. Eddie Hearn got over there, and then Bob Arum never. They're all trying to sniff over there. But they don't want to know Bob Arum or Al Heyman. They're dealing with Eddie. They're dealing with Eddie, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutement. Absolutement. And Lisa Bayliss up in the building.
Lisa, my girl.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What else we got going on here? Wrong Bear. Wrong year says another guy who never seen him here before says Big Femi. Yeah, Big Femi. Oluwafemi. Big Oluwafemi. That's the name. You might probably trying to say it in some disparaging way, but I don't see it as disparaging. That's why they call him in his home. Oluwafemi. I ain't got a problem with that. Have you got a problem with that? And in comes, can I play with madness? The one.
Iron Kong, my brother.
No, it ain't Iron Kong. When I say can I play with madness, it can only be one. There can only be one.
Another doc. Please no.
Please introduce yourself.
Fight Doctor is in the house on Rick James status, as always. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening to you, Fight.
Respect, Doc. Respect, mate.
Yes, good evening to you, Fight Doctor. What's your take on this, Fight Doctor? Come in, share your thoughts and observations.
So, can we talk about Saudi Arabia for a few minutes?
Of course.
If I were doing a list of the most back-asswards places on earth, Saudi Arabia would grace the top 3 places on that list.
Wait there, Fight Doc. Can I just say something before you go further?
Yes, sir.
We're talking back-ass places. We're talking of people who walked into your Senate and walked through white racist people over the number 1 country in the world, what you say, and took over it. And if you're talking back-ass places, you've got to look at America, mate.
Oh, listen.
Yeah.
My home country would top the list. Definitely.
Okay. At least we got some.
No argument there. Okay, listen. The United States of America has been back-asswards for a very, very long time.
Since its inception.
Okay? So you have documents such as the Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and when those documents were ratified, they were essentially meaningless because the majority of the populations of this country to which those freedoms expressed in those documents should extend to were not.
Yeah.
Okay, because the Constitution of the United States only applied to a minority of the people in this country when it was ratified.
That's right.
So
100%, brother.
So if your assertion is that my country is ass backwards, you're preaching to the choir, sir. I've been saying that for a very long time. So
100%. So we got Tone up in the building. We got the James Jameson up in the building. We got the Lisa Bayliss. We got the JJ Blues. We got the TKO22. Full house when AJ fights, sold out tickets. Okay. So mute yourself when you're not speaking, please. There we go. Okay. So, so the question the Fight Doctor posed or statement that he made was that Saudi Arabia was ass backwards. Well, I don't know about that. I would beg to differ. Certainly, politically, yeah, you could say it's ass backwards politically, but we're not talking about the politics of the place. We're talking about the finance. We're talking about who can put up the money, and when it comes to boxing, AJ boxing in Saudi, all of a sudden people start worrying about the politics, but all the other different sports that go there, it's no problem. F1 go there. A range of other sports go there, and it's no problem. But as soon as AJ goes over there to pick up the bag, then people start worrying about the politics. When I put it to you, business is business, and boxing is the business of picking up that big bag. And Leighton Evelyn made a very good point. Said Joshua can pick up the bag without Fury. Joshua can fight Wilder and pick up the bag. Joshua can fight Fury and pick up the bag. But when Fury and Wilder got together, we saw that they got the best. We saw they got the best purse they've ever got together, but it still pales into insignificance into the Joshua and the Saudi bag. So I put that to you, the fight doctor.
Yeah, listen, if the question is, so it's called prize fighting, right?
Right.
Because you fight for a prize.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the type of guy, I've never got mad at a professional prize fighter for maximizing his earning potential. Like, for instance, if you go back,
well, let me stop you there. Remember your word. We can come back to that. James Jameson makes an interesting point. Public beheadings, women's rights, but money. Terrible attitude. Terrible attitude for who? Everybody goes to Saudi for money. Jaguar, Porsche, Bugatti, Lamborghini, Mercedes. Name any Rolex. Name any big brand. Name any big brand, and they will have opulence. They will have an opulent shop front in Saudi Arabia.
Raf,
yeah.
You can what James' point is, what he's saying, is you can do that to any country. You can pick the best and the worst of any country. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know what he's trying to say. Yeah. Public beheadings, women's rights. Yeah. They don't do public beheadings, because I know for a fact my brother-in-law, he's lived over the past 5 years. They don't do public beheadings, right? But there's certain things that happen in every country, whatever. At the same time, that country, they got its poor, it's got its rich. The rich are very rich, and its poor are very poor. Go to America, they're poor are very poor, and their rich are very rich. It's the same every country, mate. But it's run by the law. They know what it is. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, we could look at America. I mean, America don't do beheadings, but they do executions. They electrocute people to death. You know what I'm saying? So are we talking about
100, Raf?
Are we talking about are we talking about aesthetics? Are we talking about you prefer somebody to be killed this way over that way? If that was talking about the aesthetics of capital punishment, then okay, you could say you prefer different aesthetics. You prefer people. You might have your own preference of how you like people to get killed.
So wait, hold on a second. Wait, stop. I have to interject, okay? Because you guys are making it sound like there are a lot of things which America and Saudi Arabia have in common, which there are some things.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I said. No, that's not what I said.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Comparable. I'll say that. I'll say that they're comparable. I'll say they're not just comparable with America, but they're comparable with a lot of countries.
Wait. No, sir. No, wait a minute. Hold on. Listen, like I said, in terms of bass awkwardness, Saudi Arabia is at the top of the list, and for several reasons. And they do have public executions. And that would just be one reason. If you're a woman, you have no rights. You can't vote. You can't own property. You can't drive anywhere. You can't go anywhere by yourself.
Wrong. Yes, you can drive now.
They've changed the rules. They've changed the rules.
Lives over there. You can drive. So
before
you start spouting off your facts, get your facts right, mate.
They've changed the rules.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so then if women can drive now, that was only a recent invention. However, they can't drive anywhere by themselves. They have to have male escorts at all times. Or not male escorts. They have to have an escort. Meaning, if you are a single woman, you can't go out the house by yourself. You have to have someone with you to escort you.
All right. Go back to the 1960s in your country. Go back to the 1960s. It's not long ago. What? 40 years ago? Go back there and what could black
Sir, if your argument is that America was ass backwards in the 1960s, I'm here to agree with you. Okay, America is the land of the thief, home of the slave. That is true. Right? That was true in 1776.
This country is growing.
And it's true.
Country is growing and learning, and it's growing and learning at a faster rate than America ever did. So for me, that's what I'm saying. The comparables, it's growing faster, and they are adapted. This is why they want the Western world to come into their country, show these big fights off, to encourage their country. When you encourage their country, you're going to encourage their laws to change.
Wait a minute. First of all, listen. Let's get some facts straight. If Saudi Arabia were not sitting on that bed of oil, no one would care.
Well, you care, don't you?
Actually, no, I don't.
Well, what are you talking about it for then?
All right, listen. They still openly practice slavery.
America openly practices slavery.
That was then. This is now. I'm talking about right now.
I'm talking about now with his prisoners. I'm talking about now with his prisoners. Slave prisoners working in prison factories. How is that not slave labor? Earning. How is that not slave labor? That's slave labor the same way. The aesthetics are different. And before we go anywhere else, James, hold on.
Mexicans with the Mexicans. What do they do for them? They use them as slaves. They know you have illegals, and you still use them to work. That's slave labor, mate. That's even worse.
I'm here to agree with you. Listen, we've already established.
Not just America, the slave labor goes on in many parts of the world. It still exists. But before we get into that, and before I introduce Iron Kong, before I do that, James Jameson has just made another very good point, which I want to address. Okay, so Jay Blues said, James Jameson, hard to turn down 80 million, right? And then James Jameson comes back and says, I get it, mate. That don't make it right. So let me address that point here, because it's a good point made by J Blues and a good point made by James Jameson. Okay, but I already addressed that point when I said that all of your leading luxury brands have very large and luxurious shop fronts in Saudi Arabia. Rolex, Cartier, what other brands? Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Porsche, Lamborghini. What else? Well, name it. You name a luxury brand, and they have a luxury shop front in Saudi Arabia. How come it don't matter then? But it matters now when it's boxing, when it's a boxing match. Riddle me that. And in comes the man like the Iron Kong.
Yeah, Rafi, blessed.
Bless up to you, my friend. Bless up to you. Good to have you up in the area. It's getting kind of heated up here. It's getting hot in here.
I don't see why you're getting heated. You know, what's all this issue with the fight going to Saudi Arabia? So what? Okay, fights go to America, and America murders black people in the streets. So what?
Oh, Lord.
Right? Late Evelyn, what going on, man? Shout out to the fight doctor. I don't want me.
Iron Kong, man. You're the man, bro. You know, my Caribbean brother. You there, bro.
Shout out to the Iron Kong.
100.
Yeah, please. So I don't see the big deal kind of stuff. Go Saudi Arabia, get the money, all right? Fights have been held in places like Zaire with Mobutu, who what's his name? Helped kill off Patrice Lumumba, right? Look here, man. This is fight sport. These people are not politicians. They're going to fight in a place, collect some money, and leave. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You when people complain about, oh, you're gonna fight in Saudi Arabia, tell your government stop doing business with Saudi Arabia then. Tell the government stop arming them. All right? Don't
That's
so you want to put,
you know, we covered this the last time. Sorry, I cut in, but you're coming after me. We covered this the last time. I forgot. You want me to the people want me to bring up the graphics about how much billions of trade the UK does with Saudi Arabia? Talk to me about that than anybody complaining about a boxing match taking place in Saudi Arabia. Explain how it's okay for UK to do billions of trade, billions of money, pounds, dollars, yen, whatever you want to call it, with Saudi Arabia, and it's okay. But when it comes to a boxing match, it's a bad thing.
All these UK people go ahead to Dubai and these places to vacation and all of this, but now all of a sudden, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury going to punch each other in the face in Saudi Arabia potentially. Oh, the world falling apart. Why are they going to Saudi Arabia? Oh, it's a backwards country. Well, you didn't know it was a backwards country when you're going over there to sunbathe. You didn't know when your government arming them. Eh? Man, look, all this lot of talk and sanctimonious nonsense or whatever. Just hush. Let me know if you're going to buy the fight or whatever. If not, I don't want to hear about no politics when it comes to fight sport. Deal with politics with your politicians, then, because I've seen fight sport held in worse places than Saudi Arabia. Okay?
Yes.
Preach, brother. Preach. Fucking preach.
Yeah, watch the language.
Sorry, Raf.
That's okay. The fight, doctor. You were saying.
So, like I said, America, the home of the thief, the land of the thief, home of the slave. Been that way since its inception. Nothing has changed.
Yeah. So, like I said, if anybody, carry on.
Now, having said that, again, you know, if Anthony Joshua were not Anthony Joshua, if Anthony Joshua were Sudanese, okay, instead of being the number one attraction, arguably, in the sport of boxing, he would get a much different reception, and he would receive much different treatment in Saudi Arabia.
But that's like
wait, hold on a second.
Let him finish. Carry on.
He would receive much different treatment in Saudi Arabia if he was Sudanese, if he was some random Sudanese person. Okay?
Yeah.
So the argument that we shouldn't consider politics in terms of boxing, if I'm the fighter, if I'm Anthony Joshua, then look, I'm not mad at a fighter who wants to maximize his earnings, his earning potential, because one, it's a dangerous sport that can kill you. Two, you have a short shelf life in boxing.
Yeah.
You know, you never know when your last fight is going to be your last fight. So, yeah, Anthony Joshua should go get that money. But let's not pretend as if he's going to your run-of-the-mill country when he's not. Now, in terms of there being worse places on earth, yeah, there are. However, when you consider some of these other worse places, now if we look at the African continent and the murderous thugs who are in charge of the majority of the countries on the African continent, what do they all have in common? That these countries are former colonial or former colonies. When the colonists left, they left after having raped these countries for their natural resources, human and otherwise. And when they were finally forced out for whatever reason, they left puppets in charge. And often these thugs were of the genocidal type. So when you look at the contrast between some of these other countries where we've held fights before, like places like Zimbabwe, not Zimbabwe, but the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which used to be known as I forget its name. But when you look at these places, first of all, they're not in charge of themselves. Whereas a place like Saudi Arabia has always been run by the Saudis, the Saudi royal family, the inbred Saudi royal family.
Doc, let me interact a minute, just 1 minute. What it is with America, is America thinks they're the center of the universe, the center of the fight. They think but the world's a lot bigger than just America, right? And boxing is bigger than just America. The world is full of boxing. And what's happening is the money is going out of America. There's bigger money than America for boxing. And when people are choosing that bigger money, the Americans can't accept it. And that is the fact, mate.
Okay, so Eddie Hills comes in with a ludicrous statement. Countries have to work with dodgy companies because of the power they hold. No, not at all. When South Africa was boycotted, it was boycotted. Yeah, nobody had to work with South Africa. It was a boycott by many countries. So that's nonsensical. You're saying that it's easier for AJ to choose. Well, your boy Fury's going there too. He can choose, can't he? Yeah, why are you putting it on the individual and not states? Yeah, no country has to deal with Saudi Arabia. They choose to do it because of the money. So,
sorry, Raf, I stepped out. My bad.
No problem. They choose to do it because of the money. So let's stop being silly. How about selling them weapons? Yeah. Does the UK have to sell them weapons? Does any country have to sell them weapons? No, but they do so. Why do they do so? Because it's a $1 billion business. They do it for the money.
How many fighter planes has America sold them? Ask them how many fighter planes America sold.
UK as well.
It's
not just about America. It's about the UK too. UK make billions from the Saudis every year. So we haven't even got to look to America. We can look to the UK itself. UK makes billions from the Saudis every year. Of course, America is in the same boat.
Rafi,
yo.
You know what I found sad though? When Joshua came up from fighting Ruiz in Saudi. This old idiot boy, what he name? It Piers something? Piers Morgan. Want to jump the guy with question. What you know, Saudi Arabia's history of abuse and all of this. How do you feel fighting over it? Now, Joshua wasn't an intelligent man to answer that. Right? He would have stumbled there. No, I find people like Piers Morgan to be hypocritical.
Of course.
I was like, you sure you want to talk about history of abuse living in Britain? You sure you want to talk about that?
Let me come in here in a minute, so I'll tell you how it is. In Britain, right, you've got Joshua on BBC, which promotes Joshua BBC, and you've got ITV that promotes Tyson Fury, and that's what it is. It's a clash of channels, and Piers Morgan is ITV. So just let you know that.
Right. So I'm like, you know, it's disappointing to me that you save this question for a boxer. Why you don't go ask what his name? Boris Johnson his name?
Yeah.
Ask Boris Johnson about that. Did you ask Anthony Joshua? Why you didn't ask Tyson Fury when he went to Saudi? To do fake fighting.
That's a good question. That's a good question. You got some money from the WWE to fight in Saudi. Listen, it boils down to this. Haters gon' hate. That's what they do best. Haters gon' hate. And you're right. When Piers Morgan asked him that question, the simple answer to that question is how much billions in trade do the UK do with Saudi? And watch that punk shrivel up. And Piers Morgan is the last person to talk about ethics. Piers Morgan was fired from the News of the World. Well, I wasn't fired from the News of the World, but Piers Morgan was mixed up in the News of the World. The Mirror for phone tapping, for tapping people's private phones and using the information they gleaned to write stories. So Piers Morgan is the last person in the world to try and lecture anybody about ethics. The Fight Doctor.
So the press is, in my mind, the definition of unethical behavior. They set the gold standard. And that has been consistent for a very long time, at least in this country. You know, when you turn on the news in America, that is in my mind, your number one source for misinformation. Misinformation. Okay, say what you will about Facebook and whatever these other social media platforms are. They pale in comparison to the misinformation that you get from your run-of-the-mill media outlets in America. The difference is that with Facebook, you kind of take it with a grain of salt because it's Facebook, but we've been conditioned to sort of trust the media in America and take what they say as gospel when 99% of it is nonsense or misconstrued in some way or turned or just, you know, it's sort of like the media in this country are so petty and insignificant that let's just say there's a fire raging, right? And this fire threatens to burn down half the city, right? And in this same city, there's a man being bit by a dog. The media in this country will report on the man being bit by a dog, but will ignore the fire raging to burn down the city. That's how the media in this country works. It reports on the news that is the most insignificant, whereas the really significant, the real news, turns a blind eye and pretty much acts as if it doesn't exist.
Yeah, have you heard of the Tuskegee? Is it Tuskegee? The Tuskegee experiments?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you know about the Tuskegee experiment when they injected African
Syphilis.
syphilis into African Americans in Tuskegee, just to see how, just experiment on them. So you don't have to go. AOBZ says, has the U.S. not committed genocide abroad? What I'm saying is they've committed genocide in their own land when they poisoned their own people with syphilis in Tuskegee to see how, to experiment on them, try different treatments, etc., etc. So if you're telling me that that isn't a level of wickedness that is beyond comprehension, then, well, hey, you got to hold that. You got to hold that. You got to recognize.
Raf, that's in our lifetime. That's in our
lifetime. In our lifetime, they've done that shizzle, poisoned their own people to try experiments, use them as lab rats. African Americans in the deep South Tuskegee.
Listen, I can even go. Look, we can bring it up to modern day. Talk about the crack epidemic. The crack epidemic. Yeah. Well, that was a direct result of policies put in place by CIA, Ronald Reagan, and George H.W. Bush.
Well, okay, it was George. It was George, whatever his name, W.H. whatever. It was George Bush.
He was in charge of the CIA.
He was in charge of the CIA, and he was pulling the strings. He was shipping illegal substances in U.S. aircraft. And he was landing it in Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas. So George W. Bush went into partnership with what's your boy's name there?
What's your boy? I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
What's his name? What's that guy's name?
You're talking about our president. What's his name?
Clinton. So he was in business with Clinton, and they were making millions to poison the American people, to do secret ops, to get finance for secret ops.
And that's why I don't understand how they think their country's so great, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like it's the human rights they've done against their own people. It's like, how can it be good?
It's a cesspit of corruption.
Right. Well, see, no truly enlightened person would ever consider America to be great, based on its history, based on its foreign policy, based on the activities of its government. Never.
Iron Kong. I can say to you, right? I live in UK, right? I could kill someone, right? I might be out in 15 years. Over there, you could be on your third felony, steal a pizza, and do 100 years. Come on, bro. Your country's fucked up.
Hey, man, what's the language?
Beg my pardon.
Where the bell?
Damn it. Okay. So, where are we? Let me get back into the chat. Hey, where else do you get such deep and scintillating conversations? Where else on the web? Which other boxing channel? I can't even call it a boxing channel, man. It's a live channel. Life.
It's passion, Raf. Passion.
It's passion.
I came on waiting for the last end because I need to discuss this stacked Don King card. So
we can't talk about that yet. We can't talk about that yet. We can't talk about that yet. That's on the menu. That is on the menu. But this is much more scintillating. Where are we? Okay. Actually, I don't blame the fighters. It's the promoters. Morally, I wouldn't work with certain countries, but it is what it is. Money buys everything. Well, if you put down the fighters, you have to put down governments as well. The same rule applies. And that's my point. The same rule applies. You can't just all of a sudden put down boxing. Nah, you got to put it on countries. If you're living in a country that does does billions dollars, pounds worth of trade with a country, you can't then say, but you can't go there. You as a fighter can't go there. You can't do that. Not in my book. You can't do that. That's a double standard. Can't have that. I hear your point, but I disagree with it respectfully. Don't even think it's Joshua on wanting to maximize the money. To be honest, it's Hearn and or his team chasing their cut. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. If countries stop using the US dollar, America will be in trouble. Financially, Saudi is a smart move, I guess. I have to agree with that. I'd rather see it in the UK. I'd rather see it in the UK. We never know. It might be in the UK. But with the situation being as it is right now, with being in tier 4, with still the COVID pandemic still messing up business, commerce, and killing off people. How many people? I don't know, because a lot of them people were old people who were going to die anyway. And they already had pre-existing conditions, so I don't know how many of them would have died of COVID without the pre-existing conditions. I think a lot of it's down to pre-existing conditions. And damn it, I received a great a great clip via WhatsApp about, I should find that. No, it won't be today. But I'm going to scroll back and find that, and I'll probably put that. No, I'm not going to do that because YouTube penalized people for shiznicks like that. But ultimately, it was of people who didn't have COVID going to certain American hospitals, and a particular hospital, I think it was in New York, that specialized in the COVID shiznicks. And they went in, got tested, and didn't have COVID. But then, because of the numbers game and because of the financial incentives in diagnosing people with COVID, they kept them hanging around, put them in beds for observation, and they put them in beds next to people who had the COVID. And lo and behold, they got the COVID. And some of them died, but they came into the hospital without the COVID. OMG. That's life. Sick. What's going on here? It's prize fighting. They go where the prize is offered. At least they have some balls, unlike the corrupt politicians who suck up to these nations 100%. What's going on here? Yeah, I just resent Hearn's. Or why mention Hearn? Is Hearn the only promoter? You ever heard of Bob Arum? You ever heard of Don King? There's lots of them. You know what I mean? I don't think you have to single out Hearn. Everybody's in it, and everybody's got their hand in the trough. Okay, where else are we going with this? I'm not defending the Middle East, but these Western countries have evil history too. Let's not play morals. Yes. Bad example, crack addicts had a choice. Hold on a second. No, it's a good example, and I'll tell you why. It's because the American government, the CIA under George Bush, illegally shipped in narcotics, and made it very, very cheap for sale. So people who were already jobless, already directionless, who wanted a little quick high, they ended up taking this substance. No one knew how addictive it was. And they got messed up. So I don't think you can just blame it on the addicts. I think you have to blame it on the importers. I think the first port of call when it comes down to laying blame down on addicts, I think you have to look at the importers. The importers are the most wicked in the chain, because they're responsible for bringing that in. Yeah. So, boom. Yeah, it certainly brought in that snow. Okay. Everywhere has an evil history. It was not Portugal who began African slavery. It was traditional in West Africa for
Foolishness.
Okay.
Foolishness.
That's nonsense. That is nonsense.
Speak on that.
Chattel slavery, as practiced by the Arab and the European, was non-existent in West Africa. It was non-existent in the whole of the African continent until it was introduced. The practice of chattel slavery was introduced to the African continent by non-African people. Prior to the Arab slave trade, there was no such thing as chattel slavery in Africa's long history. You cannot find it anywhere. It does not exist. Anyone who claims to the contrary, ask them to
submit proof. Not what you think, but what you can prove. You cannot prove the existence of chattel slavery anywhere on the African continent prior to its introduction by non-African people, period.
That's right. That's right. Foolishness. And there is a stark difference between chattel slavery and indentured servitude that was practiced on the continent. That is a foolish statement by the Barnes plumber. Slap yourself.
No, but this is a thing that it's not taught in schools. This shit needs to be taught in schools, mate. You need to be taught it in schools instead of learning about Henry VIII and Queen. Do you know what I mean? It needs to be taught.
They don't want to teach it in the schools. It's something that, you have to grow up and find out for yourself, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be that way, but they don't want to teach the wickedness.
Rapidly, quickly, let me give him an example.
Yeah.
An indentured servant has a timeline as to, like, for instance, in West Indies, where I'm from, Caribbean.
Yeah.
Where we're from. I think Leighton said he Bajan too.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad's Barbados, mate. My dad's born Barbados.
There you go. So, certain Irish people like to say Irish were slaves in the Caribbean. They were not. They were indentured servants. They had a time limit. When they were finished, some of them got land. Some of them got currency sugar, which was the currency at that time. Difference is, if they had children over there by some chance, the children were not indentured servants, they were not slaves. A chattel slave, you don't have no limit. You're owned wholly and solely. If you get a child, that child is a slave too. You understand? So, sometimes speaking to people like this, I'm really disappointed because it just shows just the level. I think Leighton said it's just the school system is just poor. But then why would colonizers teach about their evil? They don't.
Yeah. Well, I think I know why they don't teach it in schools, because they want schools are invested or whoever set the curriculum. Obviously, originally would have come down from kings and queens. And they're not gonna put something on the curriculum that's gonna make them look like the thieves. They're not gonna put something on the curriculum that's gonna make them look like the thieves and the pirates, which they are. So I understand that. Is that about
same as ancient Egypt? The way they teach you ancient Egypt, it's like it's a European thing. Ancient Egypt, it's an African run. Do you know what I mean? But schools don't teach you that. They don't teach you that.
Well, they don't teach you that. They don't teach you that. And once again, there's another reason and I'm afraid, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but they will never teach anything that shows a black country in a positive light. It's always negativity. When you go to school as a kid at school, black is always associated with something bad. And I'm afraid that's the reality. As a black man, it was my responsibility to educate myself because the schools didn't teach me. The schools didn't teach me about the reality of the wickedness in the world, and that it stemmed from Mo Nai, the desire, the greed, the craving of Mo Nai. The arms race, the industrial revolution race, all funded by blood Mo Nai from the Africas. I'm afraid to say they're not going to teach you that. They're not going to teach you that how wicked.
Listen, they could never teach us the whole truth, because if they were to do that, then we would probably en masse take up arms. And it would not be pretty.
Probably wouldn't be pretty, but we got to a situation.
Fight doctor. At least in your country, America, they teach you more black history. Over here, it's non-existent, mate. It's pure non-existent.
Well, I don't.
No, sir.
I don't think the quality of the black history they teach them is any quality at all. I would imagine it'd be very surface and lacking in depth.
So black history in this country is defined by the moment we step off of the slave ships. That is the beginning of black history, right? And no history is taught prior to us getting off of the slave ships. So we are aware, of course, that Middle Passage is part of the academic treatise that is Black history, of course, but that's sort of like that represents the beginning of Black history. They never talk about West Africa prior to colonization. They never talk about East Africa prior to the Arab slave trade. They never talk about any of that. Right?
They don't tell us over here, the slaves built Birmingham, they built Liverpool, they built London, but they don't tell you that. They don't teach you that. You've got to go research it. But that's the slaves built all the major cities in UK.
Right. And in this country, again, Black history, it's very narrow, the concept. And even within that narrow concept of Black history, there's a lot of little details that are left out. For instance, you would never learn in your typical Black history class that it was slaves who built the White House.
Okay, well, like I said before, when they talk about Black in schools, my experience was it was never anything good, never anything good. They never taught you about inventions made by a Black man or a Black woman, of which there were many. In matter of fact, I see it as almost brainwashing. I see a brainwashing process where you are taught, try to instill in you that Black equals bad. Don't talk about the inventions. Don't talk about the anything, any contributions, any positive contributions made by the Black man or the Black woman. They don't tell you about the multiple advancements. Maybe I should do a show about that. Maybe I should do a show about the hundreds of
I think you should, Raf. I think you should, brother.
I think I should. I think I should, and I think I will. Okay.
Listen, you would need to do multiple shows. Because we would need to. I mean, we would have to, if we were just like to start from the beginning, right, and just talk about that, and talk about how the Africans' contribution to world history, right?
Yeah.
And like that would be multiple shows by itself.
That would be multiple shows by itself. But let me just get into the chat. Let's get into the chat. He said, "Okay, Mr. Jones, watch that cold case. What does that say? Hammer Squad documentary. Ex-mercenary talks about vaccines given to Black people in order to kill them. 1 hour, 23-minute mark. Okay. Did George Bush inject people with crack or just make it available? What do you mean make it available? Of course he made it available. What do you think he's going to stockpile? He's going to stockpile it. He's just going to stockpile, bring it in the country on a military aircraft, land illegally, landed in Little Rock, Arkansas, and the place before that. Don't know where they was landing it before that. Barry Seals, one of the top pilots. What do you think? He brought it in and just put it in a warehouse? No, he did not. He made sure that shiznix was distributed by people like the real Rick Ross, and then had him arrested. Tried to arrest him for life until he found out a loophole that his lawyers did not see and freed himself. So yeah, they brought it in. You're trying to say they brought it in and they didn't push it? Of course they pushed it on the poor people, the unemployed people. Wanted to get a high, and they ended up addicted. Okay. And not the same as injecting people with syphilis without their knowledge. I never said it was the same. Who said it was the same? Nobody said it was the same. Is that a bike bell? Well, when I first started doing the lives, James Jameson, I wanted a method to, what was it? It was my own little swear prevention thing. And so I said I was going to get a bell, but I never got the bell. I was wondering where I was going to get the bell, but eventually, I fulfilled my word and got the bell. So I can say something like, mother. Okay. So that's the reason behind the bell. It's not a bike bell. It's a hotel bell. When you go to a hotel lobby like 40 Towers. Yeah. Old school. Got it in the house, in the place. He said he thinks the operation was British controlled. Well, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Hitler talked about a new world order George Bush Sr. talked about a new world order. Both are on the same team. Yes, yes, yes. The bronze plumber says, how about you educate yourself? Try this documentary for starters. 7, The Sungal Empire, Africa's Age of Gold. I guess, yeah. I would check that out, but I wouldn't try that for starters. That ain't the start of nothing.
What is this guy talking about, bro? Just be quiet, man.
No, he's got a right to talk. He's got a right to express himself. But you don't have to agree. You don't have to agree. I mean, I understand where he's coming from, but yeah, that's not the start of nothing, my friend. That ain't the start of nothing.
Sunday was anyway, go ahead, man.
Mr. Merks. Never seen Mr. Merks in here before. What's he got to say? Slaves in Africa were set free after they paid their debt, their so-called debt. They could also go home and see their families. Yeah, so that's a big difference between that kind of slavery and the transatlantic slavery. Big difference. Don't get the two confused or misconstrued. Okay, Romans had slaves, Vikings had slaves, Egypt had slaves, etc., etc. I don't think anyone is disputing that. Where are we now?
There was no slavery in ancient Egypt until the practice was introduced by non-Africans. But prior to Egypt having been invaded by non-African people, listen, the whole concept of chattel slavery goes contrary to the central concept in African thought, which is the concept of ma'at. Okay. And under a system that's governed by Ma'at, which Egypt was, you can't have chattel slavery. You just can't. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like, think of it in these terms, right? You have like Islam, yes, and let's just say in an Islamic society, you have we'll take Saudi Arabia for instance. Now, Saudi Arabia is governed by Sharia law, okay. Now, let's just say that me, as a Saudi man, a Saudi individual, a Saudi business owner, I wanted to open a chain of liquor stores in Saudi Arabia. How does that go? It can't happen because the governing thought process in Saudi Arabia is Sharia law. Well, in ancient Egypt, the governing thought process was the concept of ma'at, and there is no chattel slavery under that particular thought process. So it can't exist.
Next person.
Next person. Let me tell you, them is facts. What are we talking about here? Look here. These people in the chat, I get what you're trying to do. As a man from a Caribbean island, trust me, I'm well aware of these lot of talks about, oh, we all did it, so it's okay. No, we all didn't do it. Okay. So don't do that. Let's not get involved in that because I know where this discussion going to go. Thus far, it's all been facts. Y'all, please.
Watered down history.
They don't know the truth, Raf. They haven't been taught the truth, so I forgive them.
They haven't been taught the truth. The schools don't want to teach the truth. The schools don't want to teach the truth. Like I said, they never want to teach anything positive about a black man. Really, I should go back to school and slap every one of them teachers, apart from the PE teachers. Then I was just teaching PE. Slap them in the face. Line them up and slap them in the face for pushing that crap that they pushed on us. Yeah, a lot of crapola. Normal, I call it brainwashing. I almost liken it to brainwashing black kids. Unforgivable. So we got in the chat here, and remember, folks, this stems from the fight Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, looking like it will probably be heading to Saudi Arabia, and as the same as the last time, people are saying, "Oh no, he shouldn't go to Saudi Arabia." Meanwhile, the British government the British government does trade with Saudi Arabia to the tune of billions. to the tune of billions. The American government do trade with Saudi Arabia to the tune of billions. Billions, I tell you, billions. Let me read this. Racism is such a weird thing. I remember taking a train in Portugal, and people were just staring at me as I was the only black person on the carriage. And that's interesting because Portugal has a lot of black people, no? But I do remember, I do have a strange experience. I was in Amsterdam. And I thought, let me just go for a walk. I left the hotel. It was nighttime. What was it, about 11 p.m., 11:30, approaching midnight. And I thought, well, let me just go for a stroll. Because it was in the center. So I went for a stroll, and I remember these people. I was walking past these people. Mind you, Rafi was looking fresh to death. You know what I'm saying? Fresh to death. You know, my jacket alone, the leather jacket alone, you know, cost more than these people that I was walking past, more than their whole damn wardrobe. And I remember, it's like I walked past these native Amsterdam people, and it's like they almost jumped in a shop doorway as the Rafi walked past. And I thought to myself, how bizarre is this? How bizarre is this? Your country, Holland, is steeped in the trade of people, and you want to look at me as if I'm the problem? I found that highly ironic. I just looked at them, kept it moving. Highly ironic. Okay. Dude, man, I find that interesting to learn more about. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something. I'm gonna have to cook something up, work on a little project, work on a show. This is a great show today. Real talk, guys. Glad I'm here. Absolutely.
Raf, it's like I don't know, I'm born 75, right? I'm born 75. When I was in school in the 80s, in my old school, when I was there, five black families. Well, we all knew each other. Different parts of the city, but we all knew each other. We get to know, like, our kids have had kids, whatever. And there's plenty now, there's plenty. And they just don't see. You know, I tell my kids, you don't know what I went through back in the early 80s, 70s to what you're going through now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I know America's completely different. I know it is. But Britain, this is all it was. Do you know what I mean? It's different, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we had our battles over here. So no, it wasn't just peaches and cream. We had our battles. That's why so many of us found ourselves down in the karate gyms, karate dojos, boxing gyms.
That's right. Fair play. There was like 4 or 5 of us in the school who were black. We were all the hardest.
Well, you had to be the hardest.
You had to fight. You didn't
need to fight.
You had to fight.
You had no choice. There was no choice. Put it this way. I remember when I was 5 years old, and I was surrounded by some white kids. They were 5 years old too. I was surrounded by some white kids. They thought I was fair game. And I remember thinking, well, how do I deal with this? So what I had to do was I had to back up to a wall. And then as they approached me, I started punching them in the face. Punch 1, then punch 2. And by the time I punched the 3rd one, they didn't want to fight no more. But I look back to that and I think to myself, hold on a second. I was a 5-year-old kid and I had to be thinking.
That's wrong.
I had to be thinking about fight strategies. A 5-year-old kid had to be thinking about fight strategies. I thought, well, if I back up to the wall, it can only come from the front. So I backed up to the wall and then bam, bam, bam.
This is the dark shit that British people don't talk about. When you know, it's like crazy. Back in the 70s, 80s, that's what it was. But people don't want to talk about that now. But it was the truth. That's what it was, mate.
Crazy.
You know what I mean?
Imagine sending your kid to, and I never talked about it to my parents. Imagine sending your 5-year-old to school and your 5-year-old has to be thinking about fight strategies. Absolutely crazy.
That's why I got into boxing 8 years of age, mate.
That's why we all got into some kind of boxing or martial arts. We either got into boxing or martial arts or you kept your head down. I didn't want to keep my head down. I'm too tall for that. So I had to get into something.
But like when these people know this day and age think, oh, Britain thing like that, like I look at my friends and I think, listen, mate, I've grown up here, and I know what it was like. All right, 30 years on, half of them have all softened because there's more of us now. There's more.
Yeah.
There's more
Yeah.
integrated. But back
People
in the
like-
early days, mate, everyone
Yeah.
knew
Hey, Rafi.
families which were
Yo,
families.
fight doctor.
Rafi,
I mean, Kong, yeah.
all I'm saying is you said you didn't keep your head down. You kept your head down when haystacks walked up on you, though.
I never kept my head down. I never kept
Yo,
my head
have you
down
seen
yet.
haystacks?
I've never
Have you
kept my
seen
head down
haystacks?
yet. I've never kept my head down yet. Rafi's head is always up. Always up, never down, never down, never down, never that, never that, never that. So what we're saying here, Barry Seals at his own company, 60 plus tons. As told before, the Senate, Joe Biden was cross-examining. Yes. Tarquin and Jeeves forged the bell out of raw materials. Absolutely more. Tons with these. What's going on here? You can't handle the truth. What's going on here? Just be quiet, doctor. You can't handle the truth because you ignore the facts that Senegal Empire was the height of Africa influence around the world. And yes, they did have slaves. No one is denying slavery in Africa. However, there were different types of slaves, and that is the point.
So again, whoever left this, the bronze plumber, ignored what I said earlier, which is that the practice of chattel slavery was introduced to the African continent. Now, if your argument is that Africans practiced chattel slavery, I would agree. However, Africans did not start practicing chattel slavery until the practice was introduced to the African continent by non-Africans. Now, if you look at Africa's history prior to contact, or should I say invasion and colonization by non-African people, you don't see chattel slavery because it didn't exist.
Yeah, and I think that's the point here. Chattel slavery, different types of slavery. Chattel slavery, transatlantic slavery was different to the types of slavery that existed, which was
the issue is that person is not aware that the Sangha Empire was, for all intents and purposes, an Islamic empire. Okay?
Yeah.
They were under Islamic law, which allowed them to have slaves of unbelievers. You understand? People who were not Muslims, which were the Africans who were not Muslims.
Right.
So he's talking about world power. He doesn't know, for all intents and purposes. So what I'm saying is, he's not aware of African timelines. He's not aware of historical timelines. He's not aware of chronology, and it's just a useless discussion. Well, for me anyway. So y'all can have at it when it comes to him, but I'm down for anything else. So go ahead with that, man.
Okay, so why argue about stuff that people did years before any of us were alive? Well, is there not a topic called history? Is there not a subject called history? So we should banish history? Are you recommending that we banish history?
Rafi, ask Eddie Hills how he feels about what people did before any of us was alive. How he feels. If he's English, he was paying taxes to the descendants and the beneficiaries of slave owners who got reparations for owning slaves in 1834 and 38. That lasted, they couldn't pay it off till 2015. So while you were alive, you were paying taxes to assist the UK government in paying reparations to slave owners. How do you feel about that, Eddie Hill?
100%. He's right there. I know about that. He's 100% right there, Raf.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't see why history. We can't talk about history and its effects and it still has effects today. History. Look at the curriculum. Black is bad. They might as well write down the curriculum. You never get taught any good thing about what one good thing were you taught about black? What one good thing were you ever taught about black in school? It was always bad. Let's be honest. Let's not powder coat it, and let's not shirk it. And so that is not history. It is an element in history.
Well,
And
we were the best at sport. We were the best at sport, mate. We were the
yeah,
best
absolutely.
sprinters. We were the
Yep.
sprinters. We were the boxers. We were this.
No, but you
we were
didn't.
that.
Yeah, but
You
I'm
know what I
talking
mean?
about what they taught us in school. They never taught us anything good about black. Black was always
Nothing,
bad. If black
nothing,
came up, it was bad. It was bad.
I can't remember anything any teacher taught me, anything in history, living in Britain, to do with a black man. I cannot remember anything,
nothing whatsoever. Black equaled bad. It was a brainwashing process which we had to go through in school, and everybody went through it. Regardless of your color, everyone was brainwashed in British schools. That's the reality of it. And how many people then went on after they left school to research the matters, research history? Not a lot, percentage-wise, not a lot of the population. So, in other words, then a lot of the population is still walking around brainwashed from school. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm talking about is emancipation. You have to emancipate yourself from mental slavery. You have to cleanse your mind of the negatives you were taught. And learn some real shiznicks. And
the only stuff I learned, Raf, would be from my family. When my family would tell me, and I'd be like, "What?" And I'd be intrigued, and I'd think, "What? And I'd learn on to there, and I jump on from there. What? But that's what it is. It gets passed on. Tell you, like, listen, this is how it is. Don't believe that. Don't believe this. But do you know what I mean?
So we get into the defensiveness now. We get into unnecessary defensiveness. No one owes anything to anyone unless they themselves done something wrong. Well, first of all, who mentioned owing anything to anyone? Who mentioned that other than you? Who mentioned that other than you? You see what I mean? That's the defensiveness. So I'm thinking over here, Raphael Dawkins, we have the ability to discuss any subject, any matter without anybody getting defensive.
No, what it is like where these people, right, were when slavery was dissolved in Britain, you were given a tax haven off the government. And that tax haven only come back.
Because
yeah, exactly. But they've only
wrong
just
because the slave owners themselves were owed something, and they were. And Fight Doctor just told. I mean, the Iron Kong just told you that reparations were paid to the slave owners for how many years? How many years?
It's only just finished the past 20 years, mate.
It's only just finished. It's only just finished. So for hundreds of years. So for hundreds of years, 100, 200. How many years was it that slave owners were still being paid? So you're wrong. No one owes any. Their money was owed to the slave owners as according to the law, and they were paid very, very handsomely. So you're wrong there. Money was owed to the slave owners, and they were paid.
If Eddie Hills doesn't agree or doesn't believe me, I can send him the logs of who was paid, how much they were paid, how many people they owned. I can send all these come from the British Library. I can send you all the accounts, all the logs, everything. So please don't do this. Stop embarrassing yourself. You come off like an idiot. Stop. If anybody will order anything like Rafi said, it will be the descendants of the enslaved. And I am working with the reparations committee here. And I do say that a debt is owed to descendants of people who are enslaved. And that includes America.
Yeah.
Iron Kongs.
Eddie Hills was concerned. That's what Eddie Hills was concerned with. He was concerned with the descendants being paid. He was cool. He's cool with the owners being paid. He's cool with that. But he didn't think of that. He didn't realize that the owners were paid. The owners were paid for 100 years, 200 years. So you're wrong there, my friend.
I think the cost for one enslaved person, was £25, 6 shillings and 3 pence for one enslaved person. Okay.
How much?
£22.
Yeah.
6 shillings. And I think 5 pence. I can give you the exact thing.
That's cool.
Do inflation for that from 1835, I think.
That's about 10 grand a person. About 10 grand a person.
10 grand a person. That's a handsome figure. Every Bronze Promise says every school in the country teaches local study. Nah, never taught me nothing local. study beyond. You mean the country? Okay. Study beyond 16 if you want additional knowledge. Just like you, every school in the country teaches local study. I don't know what you mean by local study. Every school. You wrote that twice. Rafi was looking sharp for the locals. Well, the Rafi was looking sharp for himself. You know what I'm saying? Also going. Just like Doctor should learn some history about Goa Empire, the Mali Empire, the Songhali Empire, and not just spout facts like he actually knows something. Iron Kong.
Nothing. I'm not having no more discussion with this dude, man. Rafi, come on, man.
Yeah. Well, just counter that.
None to counter. This dude doesn't know. He's spouting the last three great West African, somewhat North African empires. He's talking about Ghana, which was then taken over by Mali, which was then taken over by Sanghe. Sanghe, Sanghe, well, as I said, was a strict Islamic society. Okay, it got more and more Islamic as the three civilizations went on. In Abrahamic religions, that includes Christianity, Judaism, whatever, you can own people who are not believers, who are not of your people. Muslims can own non-Muslims. A Jew can own a non-Jew, and Christians can own a non-Christian. If he would like to talk about the Christian part, I can recommend a book for him called Christian Protestant Slavery in the Atlantic World. He can read that, right? So what I'm saying, he wants to give all these things about Mali because he probably read something online somewhere. He's not prepared for this discussion. I want him to stop. Let's stick to what he knows, which is wilder bashing. He's good at that. You are not prepared for this discussion. Stop.
And above and beyond that, the plumber, the bronze plumber, is bringing up Songhai and Mali. Look, we're talking about the end of African civilization, classical African civilization. Okay, there's 5,000 to 10,000 years of African civilization prior to, which you have not talked about, which you don't find chattel slavery. Okay. So I don't understand why you want to talk about the end. Let's talk about the beginning. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about the beginning. So what you are saying then is that Islam is the problem. If you're talking about slavery, then you cannot ignore. There's certain things you cannot ignore. Let me just put it that way.
I'll go deeper than that.
Well, I don't know how deep. I don't know how deep you want to go because I don't know how deep you want to go because the knowledge is out there. The knowledge is out there. The knowledge is in books. Yeah, people are scared to open books. That's not my fault.
No, Raf, evolution. You cannot get a black man from a white man, but you can get a white man from a black man. Do you know what I'm saying? Evolution, brother.
Well, you see, the thing is this. Everything that we're talking about, the information is there in books. From when we left school, we had to open books to get that information. Now, skimming the surface and saying, oh, well, there was slavery in Africa. Yeah, what kind of slavery? The different types of slavery involved. And also you have to look at invaders. If you look at North Africa, you're looking at invaders. You're looking at Libya. You're looking at Morocco, and you're talking about Egypt. Those people you see, they are invaders. They are not the original man. They are invaders to Africa, and I think some people unaware of that.
But bro, the blue eye is proven. It's only 10,000 years old. The first one was ever found in Prussia. It was in Russia. 10,000 years old. The first blue eye was ever found. So man's been wrong for millions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't speak on that. I don't know how long the blue eyes, but
I know. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about.
The information is out there, folks. You just need to open a book. Yes, Raphael, none but ourselves can free our minds. We need knowledge, and to get that, we have to open books, and a lot of people don't do that, and that is a problem. You're born in Wales. Focus on what's going on here. What's going on here? Yeah, unfortunately, I covered that one. Didn't know the owners were paid. They should pay back. That's very simplistic, my friend. Very simplistic.
Rafi, my bad. The cost per enslaved person varied from colony to colony. So there were some enslaved people who were valued at 30 something pound, 70 something pound. It's a whole lot. If anybody's interested, I can tell you where to find these accounts. It's not hard to find. You're in Britain, you can find all this information in Britain. This is all logged.
All logged. It's all logged. It's all
logged. This was accounts. Enslaved people were things like cows, and dogs, and cats.
Of course. Absolutely. The Bronze Plumber writes, Philip Carl Roberts, maybe you were born in Wales and focused on Welsh history. Philip Carl Roberts responds, however, we were also taught about the Welsh here. Were suppressed.
No, let me answer to him, Raf.
Hold on, let me finish reading what I'm reading.
No,
let me finish reading this thing. Welsh were suppressed for centuries. We were taught differently here because our personal history did relate to slavery in a sense. Okay. Yeah, come on in.
Let me answer. What I say to Philip Carl Roberts is I respect the guy, fair play, right? But he hasn't got a clue. Let me tell you, right? When you look at in America, most of the top 10 names in America are all Welsh names, slave names, Williams, Jones, thing. So it shows you the Welsh went over to America and they were just the biggest slave masters of them all, mate. So don't be saying anything like that. In Wales, they don't teach you nothing like that, mate. Let me tell you, you haven't got a clue, mate. I love you, Carl Philip Roberts, but I'm telling you, I haven't got a clue.
There are a lot of Welsh slave owner names, that's for sure. Williams, Davis, etc. Who cares? The introduction arguments. Who cares? Who introduced? The introduction arguments is dumb. Who cares? Who introduced? That don't make sense. What do you mean? And yes, I address a comment made by the doctor. And you get iron. I think the fight doctor has answered your questions on multiple occasions. I went to Iron Kong because I know that Iron Kong has some knowledge in this area. Everybody's got knowledge in the area, but the fight doctor has answered every question that you've thrown. If you want to throw another one at him, feel free to do so. Okay, so this has been a very informative it's been a very informative thing. I hope that most people here are mature enough. I hope that most people here are mature enough to be able to discuss any topic. That's one of the things I aim for on the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio Show. I think people over here are generally mature, mentally mature. And so, yeah, we don't shirk from topics. Mature topics over here. And so, yeah. So that's my word on that. I have got a clue, Leighton. I know a lot of names on the Declaration of Independence were of Welsh descent. Okay.
Same as their presidents. They had their Welsh presidents. There's like five Welsh presidents that have come from descendants that come from Wales, mate. Trust me, mate. Trust me. Wales had a lot to do with it. So for Carl Philip Roberts to tell me, listen, mates, you don't know your history, mate.
Well, people know different parts of history. I think that's the point. And the point was that the schools didn't teach history to a comprehensive level. They skimmed it. Schools skimmed it. They didn't really touch on it in reality. They skimmed it. powder coated it, and that's the reality. But Iron Kong is not the one spouting facts without knowledge. That's doctor's gig. Listen, hold on. Let's get something clear here. Because I disagree with the fight doctor on Wilder, it don't mean that I disagree with him on everything. Do you know what I'm saying? And it don't mean because I think he's wrong on Wilder, it don't mean that he's wrong. I believe him to be wrong on everything. I don't think I've heard him say anything about this topic that was false. You know what I'm saying? If you do think he said something on the topic which is false, then please bring it in. Kindly bring it up. And the bronze plumber, nobody's getting at you, nobody's getting to you, but you're making comments and people are responding to your comments. It's a discussion show, so we're discussing it. So like I said before, it's imperative over here at Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. I think I've set it in such a way, set up the show, set up the channel in such a way that you know that we don't shy away from topics, both boxing related and non-boxing related. Yes, go ahead, Fight Doctor.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in on something real quick. Right now, everybody has their history, correct?
Yeah.
And it seems to me like the people who are best to give their history are the people in question whose history we're talking about. So if we want to learn something about the history of India, then we should consult with the Indian people who are the caretakers of Indian history. If we want to know something about Chinese history, then we should consult with the people from China who are the caretakers of histories of China's long history. If we want to know something about Japan's history, then we should consult with the Japanese people who are the caretakers of Japanese history.
Yeah.
But then when we come to Africa, and we want to talk about Africa's history, we go, where do we go? Do we go to Africa and the Africans who are the caretakers of African history? No. We go to Europe. And we talk to Europeans.
Great point.
Who have made
100%,
themselves
100%.
Who have self-appointed themselves the caretakers of African history. Now, let me ask you a question. Does that make any sense?
No.
And do I need to explain anything any further?
No, not to me. Not to me.
So for all of these,
mate.
So for all of these people who are going on and on about Africa's history, my question to you is, where are the primary sources for this information? Mm-hmm. And if you come back to me with some European who first doesn't understand the culture, doesn't understand the people, doesn't speak the language, then my next question to you is, are you out of your effing mind? And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. So, yeah, that's a great point. That is a great point. I've got that thing in the private chat there. Where are we? Okay, what's going on here? I'm trying to enlarge this shiznix. I think I'm trying to enlarge. That's enlarging in the background. Trying to get it large enough to make it visible. Okay. So let me try and okay, so I'm going to come to that in a second. One second. Okay, so the bronze plumber. I think I've already said everything I needed to. It resulted in Iron Khan concluding that slavery was all the fault of Islam. No. You chose to construct that sentence in such a way that is a falsehood. That is a falsehood. That is a false allegation. As a false allegation. Yeah.
Rafi, this is the perfect example.
Yeah.
Example.
It's false allegation, Bronze Plumber. False allegation. Nobody on the panel said that. But what I will say about that is that if we talk about slavery, oftentimes European people will say, well, why don't you talk about Islam's role in slavery? And then when we talk about Islam's role in slavery, you choose to misword what was actually said. That's not good. That's not cricket. That is not cricket. If at any point you can come up with when Iron Kong or anyone else said that it was the fault of Islam, then I would appreciate that, because the bronze plumber, nobody said that. But it's ironic how the twists and the shifts are very ironic. Lisa Bayliss comes and correctly said, he said chattel slavery, which means property. No, it doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't make any sense, Fight Doctor. I'm still learning about Africa's vast history. 100%. And aren't we all? Aren't we all? And now the question, oh yeah, I better show that thing. That I received. Thank you, the Fight Doctor. Let me bring this up on the screen, because I think it was, who was it? Eddie Hills. Eddie Hills said that he didn't know about slave owners being compensated. So let us bring up the graphic. We got the graphic for you.
Maybe I should ask, isn't there a politician in your parliament now called last name Drax?
Yeah, I don't know.
Tell Drax I said that his family still owns, Drax still owns Drax Hall in Barbados.
Wow.
Which was a large slave plantation.
Wow.
I mean, the people still alive, you know. The people are still alive.
People are still alive. People are still benefiting from that slave compensation. Well, the slave money and the slave compensation money. And I don't know if it's up on the screen yet. But it is up on the screen. Let me go through a couple. Let me read a couple. Okay, so first of all, this is the sums of money awarded for slavery compensation. Accounts of slave compensation claims for the colonies of Jamaica, Antigua, Honduras, St. Christopher's, Grenada, Dominica, Nevis, Virgin Islands, St. Lucia, British Guyana. Okay, so this is just a little brief snapshot here. Okay, sums of money awarded for slave compensation. Date of award, 5th of October, 1835. Okay, so number of the claim. So the number of this particular claim is 151. Name of the party to whom the payment is awarded, Grace Osborne. What's that say? £59, 12 shillings. And what's that D stand for? I don't know what D. Pence. Okay. So £59, 12 shillings, 5 pence. Where is this? This is the 5th of October. Another one, 5th of October. Ann M. So is this the name of the slave right here?
No. That's the name of the party to whom the payment is being awarded.
The payment is being awarded to. Okay. So the next one on this list is Ann M. Troy. Okay. Number of slaves, 2. So Ann M. Troy owned 2 slaves. Grace Osborne owned 3. So the sum of Ann M. Troy is getting, or she got £20, 9 shillings, 9 pence. That was in 1835. I would imagine those figures are now amounting to thousands. Phoebe, on the same date, the 5th of October, Phoebe Osborne. Is she related to Grace Osborne, maybe? Litigated claim. Oh my God, this is a big one. 9 slaves, £176, 12 shillings and 6 pence. This is funny because all these 3 are ladies, and we don't tend to think of slavery. We don't tend to think of the lady.
You got to think people were getting paid $1 shilling a week. Do you know what I mean? Back then, $1 shilling a week, like. Do you know what I mean?
Say that again.
I said you got to think people back in them days were getting paid $1 shilling a week if you were lucky. Do you know what I mean?
Oh right,
so
yeah.
That's big money.
That's huge money. That's a king's ransom. Okay, we continue on to the 5th of October. Claim number 155, Henry Henderson. Number of slaves, 3. £33, 8 shillings and 9 pence. He had 3 slaves. George Watley, he had 18 slaves. He got paid £358. Yo, that's lottery money. That's lottery money. £358, 2 shillings, 11 pence. George Watley, or is this younger George Watley Jr.? Maybe he gave slave to his son. 1 slave, £22, 6 shillings, and 7 pence. Also on the 5th of October, Anne S.R. Peets. She had 2 slaves. She got £27, 17 pence, and £27, 17 shillings, and 8 pence. Sir Henry Chas Blake Bart. How many names this guy got? He had 59 slaves. OMG. He got £1,032 and 11 shillings. Yo, that's some triple lottery money. That's some triple lottery money. And the list goes on. We got Charles Mahone, Anne Mahone, Aston Devorin, Michael Millard, Sarah A.E. Rawlins, Anne M. Paget Wade, Francis Wade, Anne Garvey Wade, Solomon Abraham Wade, Elizabeth Francis Jack, Charles Woodley, Maria Drumgold, Henry Crawford Clinton, John Rawlins, Henry Hart Wilson, John Woodley Watley, Thomas Drew, Francis Spencer Wigley, Archibald Paul Burt, Elizabeth Watley, George Watley, John Woodley Watley, Sophia.
What country is this? This St. Kitts?
No, this is multiple. It's a
no. That's you're probably on the St. Kitts page alone right now. Remember, this is pages of people.
Yeah, there's 369. This is 169, and yeah. So this is one. I don't know if it's St. Kitts.
Never mind.
Watley, just got running through some names. Sophia Oliver, Anne Barnes, Richard Challenger, Sarah Tyson, Michael Fleming, Louise Deming, and Caroline E. Evedon, Sarah Garnett, William Allcott, Anthony Duport, Thomas S. Keynes, the Reverend John Wilson, the Reverend John Wilson, in the pulpit, Benjamin Watson, Catherine Elizabeth Smith, Mary Woodward, Mary Ann Amos, Anne Hart Whitehouse, Elizabeth M. Keynes, Sir William Napier, very grand name, Sir William, Francis Chopin Vaughan, Samuel Jones, Frederick Molyneux, George Tatum, John Dawson, Anne Maria Pips, Anne Tollard, James Thompson, Anne Titley, and the list goes on and on and on. OMG.
Can I chime in real quick?
Of course.
So there was something similar that happened in the United States after the Civil War, where the slave owners in the South, believe it or not, were able to sue the federal government of the United States for their lost property. And their lost property was, guess, slaves.
Yeah.
And they got paid.
Yes. Much appreciation goes out to the Pablo Diablo for making the chat litty. I got to scroll back now. We're coming to the end of the show, but we got to cover the Don King thing. Let me see where I'm going back to. I'm going back.
Let's talk boxing, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna do this, bro. I gotta finish up the show first. I gotta finish up the chat first to address the comments. I think I already said. No, it doesn't make any sense. I'm still the introduction of, he said, slavery. When did the compensation end? Well, you can do a quick Google search on that, the Bronze Plumber. Do a quick Google search on when did slave compensation end. That will also lead you into other things.
It almost bankrupted your British Treasury.
Uh-oh. Were the payments part of the agreement internally within the U.S. to end slavery following the Civil War? The payments. Well, that's a homework assignment there, the Bronze Plumber. We're moving on now. We are moving on. Just sweeping up the last bits of the chat. Yes. It's a big one. It is a big one. What happened to my super chat? It's right there, my friend. Thank you very much. $3 grand. $3 grand? I think it's more than that, my friend. I think it's more than that. Never understood old money. I'm in and out. 554 star Shizzly Deep. Not forgot. We'll email you shortly. Thank you, Pablo Diablo. The Allies helped to pay for the rebuilding of Germany after World War II. Sometimes the winners in war compensate the losers to avoid any further problems. They didn't after World War I. Are these payments similar? Well, that's a little homework assignment there, Bronze Plumber. You seem to be very interested in the
Tell him we won that war, mate. There was no war. So what's he kind of over war? It's different. Like there was no war, mate. You know what I mean?
You seem very interested in the topics. Do this nice little research project there for you. It would be nice if you came back with your findings. But as for now, we are moving on. We're moving on. This is a big one. It's a big show. It's a big show. But we're gonna have to finish it with some boxing. And let's get straight into it directly. Let me take that down from the screen. Uh-oh, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, and we're going to finish up with this one. It's a big one. It's Don King. It's a Don King thing. Where are we? Which one is the best article for me to pull up?
I can't wait to go on this one. I can't wait.
I found it. Okay, I found it. Let me share the screen. Let me share my screen with you. Okay, so Cha Brian off. Don King plans to still. Hold on, am I even sharing? Yeah, it is. It's there. Okay. Why is it so small? Let me make it bigger. Okay, Cha Barry, can we go? Can we supersize that? Yeah, I think we just did. Supersized it. Let's have a look how it looks for you guys. Okay, that's good. I've got good visibility on that. Civil War. Yeah, okay, so right. So Cha Brian off. Don King plans to still proceed with January 29 show in Florida. Muhammad Manuel Cha and Trevor Bryan will have to wait another day to settle their differences, if ever at all. The often spoke of WBA heavyweight title consolidation bout has once again hit the scrap heap. Event officials have informed Rafael Dawkins Combat Radio. The reasons for the fallout depend on which side of the argument is believed, though the lack of a signed contract between parties. Listen to this. The lack of a signed contract between parties ultimately prompted the decision to drop the fight from the schedule. Okay, so there was no signed contract between parties. Unbelievable. Don King's known for his contract with just the area for you to sign your signature. Okay, the bout was due to take place this Friday. This Friday, live on an independent pay-per-view distributed by Hall of Fame promoter Don King from the Seminole Hall Hard Rock Cafe, Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. The show will apparently still go on in some form or other, just without Cha as part of the card. Okay, so the issue was that Cha did not have the right kind of visa, allowing him to fight in the United States. Carl Lewis, a attorney for Don King Productions, told Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio earlier on today. The visa he has obtained allowed him to travel to the US, but his P1 visa application is still pending. If he was granted a P1 work visa, he could have fought. If not, he can't fight. Don was waiting like everyone else for them to make their decision. What are you talking about? He either got the work permit or he didn't. That part remains in dispute. Records show that such a visa was ready for Cha to obtain, but was still lacking a countersigned contract from Don King. OMG. So for Cha to have fought, he would have needed a countersigned contract from Don King. And that was not forthcoming. Was also, what is it called? As lead promoter, Don King was also required to secure the visa and proper travel and accommodations. So it seems like Don King didn't do a number of things that he should have done as a promoter. As previously reported by Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, the backup plan is for Brian, an unbeaten heavyweight from New York, to face the faded Bermain Stavern. Okay, so King has previously petitioned for an exception to be granted by the WBA to allow for Cha's world title to be at stake, as would have been the case had he faced Brian, the sanctioning body's reigning interim titleist. In the request also came for a call to demote Cha to champion in recess, if not outright strip him altogether. Shady stuff. Cha's not fought since a 12-round win over Alexander Ustinov in their vacant secondary title in November 2017. Okay, so the 36-year-old heavyweight tested positive for 2 banned substances surrounding a cancelled September 2018 title defense versus Frezoquendo, who has reportedly filed an injunction to block. So Frezoquendo has filed an injunction to block the Cha versus Brian fight or any other secondary WBA title fight in which he is not included. I think Frezoquendo is like 48 now, and he hasn't fought for multiple years. Okay, so Cha was suspended and initially stripped of the title as a result of the infraction. We're talking about the failed drug test. Though that was overturned in January 2019 thanks to a drug testing illegal loophole where Cha claimed he was not given sufficient notice to be present in order to witness the unsealing of his B sample. From there came the call for Cha and Brian to meet in a title consolidation clash, with Brian having won the interim belt by a 4th-round knockout of B.J. Flores in 2018. Okay, I'm not really feeling to read any more of that. Suffice to say that Trevor Bryan will be fighting Bermain Stavern on this coming Friday. Okay, so what else is there? That is it. That is the story. That is the story of Cha Brian off. Don King plans to still proceed with the January 29th show in Florida. OMG. Okay, so who wants to lead off with that? Leighton Evelyn.
What are you saying, bro? What the fuck? With Cha, like, bro, same old story. This story's been getting old and old. Everyone knew this was going to get cancelled before it got cancelled. It goes back to Don King. Don King's been around for 10 years, I'd say, 10 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, he's trying to put on a pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
For Manuel Cha, who's not fought in 3 years, to bring him over to America to go and fight. But everyone knew the second fighter, when like, oh and behold, it's going to be Bermain Stavern and Trevor Bryant. Hang on, who's going to pay £20 for that? Come on, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's Don King at his best, mate. It's shocking. It's shocking. It's like I read.
It's hilarious. I'd pay for the spectacle. I'd pay if it was if it was on at the time schedule that was good for me. I'd pay for it just for the laugh.
No,
just
not paying a penny.
And giggles.
I did an interview the other day off True School Sports or whatever it was with Stacey McKinley, and he was saying that this the WBA super belt, the normal belt, is more prestigious than the super belt with Joshua. And I'm thinking, hang on, how'd you work out? And he said, Muhammad Ali owned this and all. I'm thinking, mate, what are you going on about? You know what I mean? You can't win. You can't win with this propaganda machine in America. You can't. It's America.
It's pure madness. What is this? Christopher Lovejoy was right in turning down the Allen fight. He didn't turn it down. Now he could be heading for a PPV. No, Christopher Lovejoy was right. He didn't turn it down. What happened was that Don King kind of interjected at the 11th hour and said, no, Lovejoy is my fighter. Even though Lovejoy has been setting up his own fights for the last, 18 months, 2 years. And then Don King steps in and says, no, he can't fight. He's not allowed to fight. So he's my fighter.
Eddie Hearn stepped in and said, Don King, I'll pay you, whatever. Don King still said no. Eddie
Hearn made a generous offer to Don King to compensate him. And in spite of that, Don King said no and pulled out Lovejoy. Very, very crazy situation. The Fight Doctor, speak on it, please.
Don King proves, in my mind, he proves that oftentimes criminals do their best work post prison. And I'll leave it at that.
OMG. Don King trying one last sting. Hey, it's always worth a shot. Iron Kong.
Hey, man, this is what I'm here for. This is the content that I am on Rafi Dawkins Combat Radio for. You understand me? I like that A-side Frez Oquendo is flexing his A-side muscle here. You understand me? Y'all not going to get past Frez Oquendo. You understand me? Give my guy his shot or pay him off. You understand me? You know, it's weird. It's wild. When we first started talking about this, and we noticed the little fine print of fighters subject to change, I was like, "This is gonna be some bull. This is gonna be some BS."
Yeah.
You understand me?
Yeah.
And lo and behold, Christopher Lovejoy is on Twitter. Before the fight, he's like, "Bro, the Hard Rock Cafe or whatever don't even have no events booked. I had no idea that I'm fighting Romain Stiverne. What are these people talking about?" Let me tell you something. Don King got to be the best of the worst. I don't know how people still doing business with Don King, but I just don't know. You know what I'm saying? Trevor Bryant. I remember Stacey McKinley, I think it was Leighton was talking about how this was sometime about how, you know, Trevor Bryant can do things that no other heavyweight can do. He got skills that no other heavyweight got. I was like, Trevor Bryant? What are you talking about? I was like, yo, let me tell you something. Manuel Char, I think he needs to just retire.
Yeah.
Do something else because you ain't doing nothing at all with his regular belt. I think the whole regular belt being more prestigious is because the regular belt was the championship belt. Then they created a super belt similar to what the franchise belt is kind of with the WBC.
Yeah.
So the regular belt is what I think David Hay had or something. But so that was the championship belt. Then they made another belt above that. So that belt does have lineage in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the regular belt was the premier belt, but then they got the super belt. What's going on here? Don King was talking about the winner defending their belt versus AJ Fury. Absolutely out of his tree, out of his mind. Brian V. Ozoquendo are pensioners. Yeah, I think Ozoquendo is he not 48? Is he not 48? You couldn't pay me £20 to watch I'd watch that thing just for the and giggles. Just for and giggles. Propaganda is its best. Lawsuits everywhere. True A side muscle. This is better. This is better than love and hip hop. What else was I going to do? I was going to do something. Oh, yeah. There's so many damn windows open. It's scary. I'm surprised the damn thing ain't crashed already. What is that? I can get rid of that one to open a different one. I know exactly where I want to go. Is it there or is it there? Oh, it's Instagram. Okay. Let me pull this shiznix up on Instagram because it was very, very interesting. Trevor Bryan, Instagram. Boom, boom, boom. Let's pull this shiznix up. And let's share it. Let's stop sharing Christopher Lovejoy, who is off the card. And let's pull up Trevor Bryan. Okay, how's that looking on the screen? It's too small, as I suspected. Let's get this up because it's highly hilarious. There's some hilarity here. Oh, silent movie. Okay, fine. But it goes. Just looking for a payout. Professor Quendo doesn't want to be paid, just looking for a payout. Only in America.
You got one person on his resume that I know. One person. That is
Not
shocking.
one person on the resume. The damn thing is totally shocking. It's totally shocking. That's Trevor Bryan you're looking at in case you don't recognize him. It's not exactly a famous face in the heavyweight division. It's been hibernating, waiting for a chance. Okay, so Big Trev says, we on, champ. We on. Friday, the 29th of January 2021 on DonKing.tv. Catch your guy, The Dream, back in action because it's the return of greatness. OMG. Okay, and this is where it gets interesting. Kenzet says, I'll be watching. View on reply. Hope you didn't buy the PPV. OMG. Let me carry on. Fights off though. Says crypto boxing. What's going on? Send me the shirt. First round champ or second if you're trying to be nice. Okay. Trevor Bryan and King Clowns on Box Sport. Coach Raff, who you fighting, champ? OMG. Chant is a joke. Why wasn't this VADA stuff sorted out 1 month before? It's nothing to do with VADA, I don't think. Must be proud of how you're gonna get the title. Some serious rat-ish going on here. Must be proud. What does it mean? F off. There is no fight. Just a fake by Don King. Confirmed liar. And I hope both of you get a harsh punishment. OMG. What's this? Any fighter under Don King, a joke. Need to leave him ASAP. OMG. Better call that return of slickness. Your promoter was not man enough to handle fair business with Mahmoud Shah. If you was a man enough for a fight, you wouldn't play those games as well. Champs are made in the ring, not on paper or by playing wicked games. Word on the street, don't underestimate the overseas G. We don't forget. We don't play. OMG. Okay. So there's a highly hilarious a chat here to Trevor Bryant's post. People mocking the Shizniks. What's going on here? Return to greatness. Friday, January the 29th. You notice that Mahmoud Shah's picture was never on the damn flyer. OMG. What's Trevor got to say? Oh, the sound don't work. It's silent movie. It's never silent movie. Okay, so where are we now? Who wants to chat on this? Who wants to chat on this? Anybody got anything they want to say on this as we come to the close of the show? Anybody else got I don't want to say anything on this. And if not, this is a sizzling mess. What else is there?
I'll tell you now, Rap. It's an absolute joke on the boxing fan, because the boxing fan is like, they want to see things. They're just taking the piss out of us, mate. They're proper taking the piss out of us. It's like, are you joking me? £20 to watch Manuel Char against Trevor Bryant. That's not happening. Exactly.
It's going to be Stavern. It's going to be Romain Stavern now.
Paying £20 for Romain Stavern. Are you joking me?
That's who Wilder got his title from. Put some respect on his name.
Come on, Ralph.
Put some respect on Romain. That's KFC sponsored Romain Stavern.
Ralph, as a boxing fan, right? I'm tired. You've got Eddie Hearn putting £20 on every pay-per-view that's coming every month, right? And half a mint. So, half a mint. And then he wants me to pay. I got to pay for fight on top of that. I got to pay for the zone on top of that. I got the
answer. Don't spend any money on that Shizniks. All you have to do is tune in to the Rafael Dawkins Combat Radio. That's how you do it. Don't spend no money. Just come over here to the Rafael Dawkins Combat Radio, and we'll take care of that for you. But it's
wrong, Raph. It's wrong. As boxing fans, as fans, we're paying in the pocket, which is ridiculous. I'm a football fan. I pay my subscription for football. I watch all my football. But for boxing, I got to go year there. It's ridiculous, mate. It's ridiculous.
It is crazy. But with that, we've come to the end of a classic show. I hope no feelings were hurt. I hope that everyone can receive this Shizniks. There we go. All in good. You know, it's educational over here. We do education over here. We do all kinds of knowledge. You get knowledge. You come over to Rafael Dawkins Combat Radio, and you end up with getting some new knowledge, learning something you didn't know before. Okay, so let's go around the table. Where are we? So, Leighton Evelyn, have your final words, my friend. Have your final words, sir. Thank you for coming on over, chopping it up with us. I do agree with Philip Khan Roberts. It was a great show. TKO says respect, absolutely. Good show. Rafi said the bronze plumber. Yes, absolutely. I agree with all of that. Philip Khan Roberts, have your say, my good man. Thanks for coming on over.
My final words will be, Philip Khan Roberts loves you, brother. Welsh brother loves you all the way.
Did I call you Philip Khan Roberts, or did I call you Leighton Evelyn?
You're talking to Philip Khan Roberts. I'm shouting out to Philip Khan Roberts. Philip Khan Roberts. He's a Welsh brother like me. He knows what I'm saying. He understands what I'm saying. And I gotta say to Mr. Fight Doctor, respect tonight, mate. Respect tonight. You haven't caused murder. Do you know what I mean? He's been on the same side. We all understand. Iron Kong all the way. He always talks the truth, my man. He knows his stuff. I love and respect that guy. It's been a good show, but we gotta think for boxing for what we're going forward. With us, are we paying for these pay-per-views that we don't want? Are we paying for these fights that we don't want? And that's the thing. I want to pay for what I want to watch. And I'm not getting charged stupid amounts to pay for stupid fights that I don't want. It's like if people try chucking in my face, Khan and Brooke, sorry, mate, get out of my face. I don't want it. I don't want it. People want to chuck in my face and Logan Paul and fucking Lloyd. I don't want it. I don't want it. Sorry. But I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm trying to be as nice as I can, but I don't want it. I don't want it. I want real fights. I want fights that I want to see. I don't know who's going to win. They're the fights that I want to see. I don't know who's going to win. I don't want fights where I could go and put money on 100%. He has won it. That's me out.
100%. And that was the Leighton Evelyn, long-time subscriber, long-time supporter of the show, showing his continued support and contributing, jumping on when he can. Excellente. That was the Leighton Evelyn. And then we have the Fight Doctor. Fight Doctor, your final words, please.
Shout out to Leighton Evelyn. Shout out to Iron Kong. Gentlemen, it is always an honor and a privilege to chop it up with you. I would just say, open up a history book. Open up a real history book. Open up a real history book and go back to the beginning and work your way forward. And just understand that, unfortunately, racism has crossed many different, or it has infected many different disciplines, and academia having been one of them. So go back, if you go back to and look at the ancient Greeks, right? This is before the advent of racism. And you read about how they essentially worshipped Egypt, worshipped Africa, okay? Because they understood that was the source of their knowledge. And, in those days, there was no black, no white, there was just human beings, right? And that this whole system of racism was invented after the fact and has corrupted the human condition. And we would be better off if we could just move beyond. And I'll leave you gentlemen with that.
Yes. And so that was the Fight Doctor. And then there were two, Iron Kong. Your final words, please.
Yes, Rafi, I want to thank you as usual for giving me the opportunity to reason with you as usual on boxing. And, surprisingly tonight went completely somewhere else. And that was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying?
It always goes somewhere else with the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. It always goes somewhere else for at least a time. Or we bring it back.
Man.
Bring it back.
Yeah. But that link that you showed, you know what I'm saying? If anybody can go and look it up, because you might be surprised at the names you see in those slave logs, because in those slave owner logs. You will see people that were parliamentarians, as Rafi just discovered. There were reverends involved. Yeah. Black people just owned those things. It was just a common thing to own a black person, right? So, yeah, man. It was great for being here reasoning with y'all, and I'm glad we went down that road. But again, Frez Okendo, A-side in all this, you can't get around my man Frez. Either gonna pay or give my guy his shot, and that's all for me. I'll be listening in to the Trevor Bryant, Bermain Stavern.
Bomain, you gotta pronounce it right. Bomain, B-U-M.
the Haitian sensation, Bomain Stavern. I'll be tuning in for the Raphael Dawkins live play-by-play.
100%. I might stay up for that one. Hey, Iron Kong, Fight Doctor Leighton Evelyn, much appreciation. We had one hell of a corker. Yeah, we're definitely gonna get the final bell. You're definitely gonna get the final bell. One hell of a corker of a show, entertainment and education, all wrapped up in a sizzling blend of herbs and spices like you don't get nowhere else. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's not just the Raphael Dawkins, but it was everybody who participated. Iron Kong, the Fight Doctor, Leighton Evelyn, and of course you, the people in the chat. had scintillating arguments, had scintillating points and counterpoints. And I think everybody leaves here more educated than you came. Okay, so it's everybody who came in here. Much appreciation goes out to all of you. This is the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comments, it's the shares. And it is the hitting that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. And don't forget about the live show. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. And we are, well, we're almost out. We are almost out, but we're not quite out yet. We're not quite out yet. Everybody go and do your research. Don't just watch one video or film or show. Go watch everything that has previously been recommended and come back with your findings. And we are out. Blessed.